Greetings. On your screen is my favorite Facebook post from the end of last year. In it, our good friend over at the Boom Church was saying that in the coming year, 2021, folks better lawyer up. Unfortunately, I never did get around to lawyering up in this past year, but fortunately for me, it turned out that I didn't need to. So with that in mind, in this short video, I'd like to take a fun look at some of the threats of legal action which came from those circles. The first time this sort of thing came up was in October of 2019. After my first two videos on the Pews, which were quite respectful and basically an invitation to further dialogue, our friend, the good doctor, responded by floating the possibility of suing us.
And technically, if I wanted to go legal on these guys, I can literally take a legal case out on them because they are what? Defaming my character.
Correct.
Then, the following March, which is to say March of 2020, the threat of litigation rose again. You see, Sista E had set up a public forum for dialogue on Facebook, and when I was in that forum and attempted to initiate some dialogue with the good doctor, he once again threatened legal action. I marked the occasion on Twitter and would like to now play about a minute of the video I tweeted out back then. Popular claim that Hebrew appears on the pews of the First African Baptist Church in Savannah, Georgia. Now, one of the more well-known proponents of that view is Pastor Kelly Richardson. So both Vocab and myself, independently of one another, have attempted to reach out to him to get his thoughts on the subject. Interestingly, Richardson responded by threatening to sue Vocab. Actually, he threatened to sue us both. In a public thread on Facebook, Richardson wrote to me, "If I hear or see any images of me in your videos, I will take legal actions against you and Vocab." Now, it's my sincere hope that we can have a cordial and respectful discussion on the topic and explore the topic before the public eye, and honestly, to do so without any threats of litigation. Where this goes from here is anyone's guess. Fast forward to December 16th, 2020, after it had been revealed that they had misrepresented David Bunis when they falsely claimed he confirmed an entire Hebrew sentence on a pew. They, at that time, tried to draw attention away from that misrepresentation by falsely claiming that people had bullied Professor Bunis. But Kelly took that even further, promising, emphasis on promising to bring federal and international criminal charges against multiple people who allegedly participated in this harassment. But as luck would have it, nothing came of those threats. Now, I'm reluctant to say that the good doctor was bluffing, so instead I'll simply say that the legal stars seem to have aligned in a way which was conveniently auspicious for us. Nonetheless, without further ado, here's a 4-minute excerpt of the good doctor promising federal and international charges, even explicitly declaring that it wasn't a threat, but a promise.
And we could go through the email that they sent to Professor Bunis again and show you their tactics and see what these guys don't have a clue about. Number one, Professor Bunis is overseas. And when you send those type of emails and you start phishing and those type of things, you start getting into international crimes. It's not just local, it's international.
Yeah.
And many of you guys are hiding behind what you think is dummy accounts. It's traceable.
Oh, yes.
You may think that you created a dummy account. I could tell you all about computer forensics. I'm not new to this thing. So you can go to the library, right? And open, call yourself sending an email from that library, or you may try to, get other computers to kind of hop from, and you could go through the dark web. Let me tell you right now, it's all traceable.
Yep.
So every email that was sent to Professor Bunis, guess what?
It's traceable.
There's an IP address that's associated with the computer that it was sent from. There's a location that it was sent from. All of that stuff is attainable. So I'm making it clear right now. You're not going to get away with it.
Yep.
That's not a threat. This is a promise. You are not going to get away with it.
Yep.
And last thing I want to say, Sister E, these guys have no clue of the depth of what they really are getting into.
Yep.
When you get into phishing, that's what it's called, phishing. It is a crime to harass people. That is a crime. To bully people, that is a crime. And when you do it across state lines, Let's just say if you are in Chicago, let's say if you are in Arizona, let's say I'm mentioning those places for a reason. Let's say if you are in Florida and I am located here in Virginia. Guess what? When you call yourself bullying someone, guess what? You are getting into federal territory. Why? Because you are crossing state lines. And then when you do this on someone that's overseas, now you're getting into international crimes.
Yep.
That is criminal. See, this is why I made it clear from the beginning. I'm not talking to these guys, but that's what they do. They hide behind these channels, and that's what they do all their stuff, thinking that it's going to stay hidden. But they messing with the wrong people. They mess with the wrong ones, because what they think that they're getting away with, like bullying Professor David Bunis, guess what? They're not going to get away with it. And that's not a threat. That is a promise.
Yep.
They are not going to get away with it. And again, they don't understand law. When you're bullying someone and they're overseas, that is international waters. That is an international incident. Technically, that is an international incident.
Yep.
Then even within the state, when you go across state lines with your foolishness and throwing slander on, you can get into what? Federal law. I mean, federal crimes. Because when you go from one state to another state, now you're entering into what? The federal level.
Yep.
So when they hear us saying things like, hey, they don't understand the legal aspects of it, and they try to pump their chest and say, oh, well, we just doing this, and we just, no, it's beyond that. Why? Because we see more than what they can ever imagine for us seeing things. So again,
ironically, 4 days later, that side was revealed to have been using a quote-unquote dummy account of their own when the Katz fiasco was exposed. Now, that night, Brown initially replied with a YouTube community post saying Richard Katz was going to sue us. He later took that post down, but that night, a couple other accounts discussed it. They were having a brief bit of discussion on that humorous community post to humorous effect that night. Here, listen to this.
Will Brown from the Boom Church. So he now comes out with a statement on his community thing, saying he's gonna sue them and all that sue talk. You ain't suing nothing, man.
Why the hell he suing everybody? Because he made this shit up? How you gonna sue somebody when you made it up?
Listen, so wait a minute, let me get this right. Boom, William. So you gon' so you gonna sue Boo and Faithful? Cause what Richard Katz is you, sir? It's you.
But praise God, after more than 2 years of threats of legal action, it finally came to an end just this week, a mere 3 nights ago. You see, our beloved friend, the good doctor, publicly announced that he no longer intends to try to bring the weight of the law down on our heads. Not because he had no legal leg to stand on, and not because all the legal threats were mere empty bluffs, but rather because a high-powered lawyer in the entertainment industry looked at the issues and convinced the good doctor that we were small potatoes, worth neither the money nor the energy. Here, consider this.
Yes, I was going to take legal action. And actually, I consulted with my lawyer about the slandering things that was going on. And the only reason why I stopped is because my lawyer told me that these guys have no influence. He did stats and, did his statistics, did his research, and entertainment lawyer, I'm not going to mention his name because of these guys. My lawyer told me that these guys have no influence. I spent $14,000 cash. And he said, I can take your money. He said, I don't have a problem with taking your money. He said, but why would you invest money into a group of people that have no influence? But these so-called Christians and so-called Moors and so-called atheists, and so-called, many of them from my community, Catholic, Roman Catholic, began to mock. So my lawyer said, look, ignore them. Said they have no influence.
While I'm sure some of you are skeptical about that, I'll accept that explanation. You know, I'm going to go ahead and accept it and believe the good doctor and accept him at his word. I, for one, am grateful that the secret entertainment lawyer convinced the good doctor to have mercy on us. A veritable secret Santa, if you will. There's been a lot of talk of secret Santas, and it seems that secret lawyer fits that to a T. But whatever the case, I'll close here. Like I said, it was just a short video. And for those who are interested in a bit more on this topic, I'd recommend Vocab Malone's video from last February, titled The Most Sue-Happy Religion Since Scientology. I'll put a link in the video description. On that note, I'd like to wish a Happy New Year to Kelly Richardson, Will Brown, and their very kind-hearted legal teams. God bless.
I guess if you were Indian, I bet you'd be Sioux. Because you people sue each other. And so it's a full circle.
Okay, if I hear one more anti-Semitic remark from your mouth.
Oh, so now we're pretending that your people don't litigate.
Okay.